Hi, I am recording this video to accompany Bonnie's section on stress and dealing with stress and those her lecture from Monday. What I'm going to be talking about is some strategies for reducing anxiety, reducing stress, bringing your anger level or your frustration level down. Because one of the things when we talk about stress, we often talk about how we are reacting to things in the environment that are causing difficulty for us, or we're reacting because we're having an argument with our wife or our husband, or we're having problems dealing with something, or we've got worries that are coming on to us. But what happens with those is we have a whole bunch of physical reactions, and our body ends up responding as if the thing that is bothering us is something that's physically threatening us. And the reason that becomes a problem is our bodies start reacting as if we're going to do one of three things to deal with this problem. We're either going to fight, and that doesn't mean argue, that means physically fight, defend ourselves by attacking the thing that's causing a threat to us and making us feel stressed. Or we're going to do what's called flight. We're going to run away. We're going to escape from the thing that's causing us problems. And if it's you being angry with your spouse, running away is probably just going to make the problem worse. And the last response we have is what they call freeze, which is just stay really, really still and don't do anything and it might not notice us. And all of those things, in order to be effective at them, a number of things happen in our bodies. Our heart rate speeds up. Our breathing rate speeds up. Our muscles start to tense. Our stomach clenches. We start to sweat. And all of that is because those physical things happening make us faster when we're running, make us hit harder, make us have more oxygen so that we can be better involved in the fight, make us have more oxygen in our blood so we can breathe quieter because we're not needing to take deep breaths as much. So that means those kinds of feelings and sensations in our body are a reaction to the thing that's making us stressed. But they also, our body feels those things and goes, uh-oh, something terrible is about to happen. So having those sensations in your body, even if you're only a little annoyed with your spouse, this is going to make it feel worse and worse. Even if you were only a little worried about the meeting you had to happen, these feelings make you really worried or really frightened. So controlling those physical sensations controls your reaction so that instead of screaming and yelling at your spouse, you can have a conversation with them. Instead of getting in a fight with your neighbor over who did what wrong with the animals, you can stay calm and solve the problem. So when you've got a marriage couple and they're having problems and they keep fighting and arguing, their body systems are so aroused they can't be calm enough to talk to each other and try and solve the problem. So sometimes when you bring a couple in, the first thing I have to do is get them to calm their anger down so they can actually talk to each other rather than just telling me again and again all the things wrong their partner did. The other reason why it's important to do this is because when we're really angry and we're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, our thinking happens at the front part of our brain. So normally we have blood going to all parts of our brain and bringing our brain the oxygen it needs to work. Well, when we're really angry and those sensations are happening in our body, the part of our brain that controls fight, flight, or freeze is back here. So your body goes, we need more blood back here. So they don't turn off enough blood that you're going to pass out, but it redirects the blood here so that you can run faster without thinking about it. It redirects the blood back here so you can freeze without thinking about it. It makes all those things be more automatic. But it also means you're not as able to talk a problem through because you don't have enough oxygen and blood to make your front part of your brain work as efficiently. It's not going to cause it any damage, but it's not working as efficiently, so you can't talk the problem out with the person you're angry at. So when I have somebody who's really angry and they're yelling and they don't want to talk, one of the things I try to do with them is to calm them down. when I'm working with children who are really scared or really worried about school and it's interfering with them learning at school, we do some activities to help them relax and be calmer so that they can actually listen to the teacher and learn. Or when a child's really angry and upset and doesn't want to listen to what mom and dad is saying, we can help them calm down so that they can be in a quieter space and be able to listen to what mom and dad says. Because if all I'm thinking about is how I want to argue back, I can't think about what you're telling me and really be listening. So there's a couple. Now the first one is pretty simple because this one works best with anxiety and anger, because when we're angry or anxious, we keep going over and over and over those thoughts in our head about what we're anxious about. Or we start thinking about what's way ahead in the future. It's not right now, but I'm worried about it, so I'm thinking about it. So the first one I do is to bring us into thinking in the present. So one of the things that makes us be in the present is paying attention to our senses, what we're actually experiencing. So there are two versions of this. And the first version is you just list it. So 5 things I can see. Well, I can see my dad's paintings on the wall behind me. I can look down and I can see the footstool, and it's brown and dark red and sort of beige. I can see the cushion over here, and it's a square, and it's purple and pink and yellow. I can see the table my laptop is on. It's brown and it's square. I can see a book. Okay, so 5 things I see. 4 things I can hear. Ross is talking in another room. There are cars driving outside and I can hear the rumbling. There is somebody walking upstairs and I can hear their footsteps. I think the heat may have come on because it's getting cold, and I can hear the furnace rumbling. 3 things I can touch. I can touch the chair I'm sitting on. I can touch the basket in front of me. I can touch my arms. 2 things I can smell. I can smell soap on my hands. And I can smell cleaning stuff because I had to wipe off the table today. And the last one is something I taste. I had coffee, so I can taste coffee. You don't have to go into the description, but you have to say the 5 things. Another way you can do it, though, is you say 1 thing I can see and you describe it really in depth, the way I did the stool. I see the stool. It's about 16 inches high. It's made of different colors of leather. They're all sewn together. And there's red and dark brown and beige. And okay, that's what I see. Then I describe something I hear, and I describe it really clearly. There's a clock in the background, and I can hear it going. So every second, I can hear the clicking noise. Something I can touch. I can touch the chair I'm sitting on. It's covered in fabric. The fabric's soft. It's not a smooth fabric, though, so I can feel the bumpiness. All of this is making me think about the here and now rather than what I'm anxious about. And if you kind of listen to me, you can hear my voice is getting calmer and I'm talking slower because it's making me pay attention to what's around me. For the smell, the soap I'm using is one of those antiseptic ones because we went over, my stepfather is ill, so I bring him food every day and then we leave. So the soap I am smelling, it's got that harsh, strong smell because it's got the antiseptic in it, and it's very strong. And the coffee I had, it didn't have any sugar in it, so I can taste it, and it's bitter. But I really quite like it. It's got a strong flavor, and I like it. So the first kind, you just name 5 things. My father's painting, the stool on the ground, the table in front of me, the cushion beside me, the light across from me. With this, the second one, you pick 1 of each sense and you describe it in depth, and both of them make you pay attention to the now. So if you've got a couple who are fighting, you say, no, let's just talk about let's just pay attention to right now for a minute. Now that you're calmer, let's talk about what's going on and talk about where you are right now with each other. But it's to calm them. The other one I do is with people who are very angry, or with people who get really anxious, or people who get really frustrated. And for the anxiety, this is one that I have them practice so that they can turn it on whenever they want. When we're really anxious, our heart is racing and our muscles are tense, and we can't calm down because our body is going, no, we need to run or fight or freeze. So we get really agitated. And what we're trying to do is stop that physical reaction. And doing it when you're in the middle of having a temper tantrum or you're in the middle of a screaming fight really doesn't help, because you're already too agitated and upset to calm it down. So this is something I work with kids and teenagers using this one a lot, as well as adults who have a lot of anxiety or a lot of anger. And I have them do it 2 or 3 times a day. So they get very good at being practiced at it. And then we teach them how to turn on that relaxation without having done all of it. So with people who are also very afraid. So sometimes when I'm working with patients who are waiting to find out if they have cancer, we'll do it so they can calm themselves down so that they can listen to the doctor and be able to decide what they're going to do. So this one is called systematic relaxation. And you start by taking a slow, deep breath. And I also want you to pay attention because I deliberately got myself getting a little bit wired so that you can listen to the difference as I calm down. Slow breath in for the count of 3. Slow breath out for the count of 3. Now, I'm going to tighten all your muscles really tight. Make really tight, tight everything. Let it go. In for the count of 3. Out for the count of 3. And now you're going to go through all your body parts, because every part of your body gets involved when you're having an anxiety attack. So you tighten up your feet and you let it go. So you squeeze your feet muscles like this and you let them go. Breathe in, breathe out, because our feet muscles tighten up, because that's what we run with. Then you tighten up your legs. I don't know if you can see it. Squeeze your leg muscles really tight. Then you let them go. Breathe in. Breathe out. You suck your stomach in. Because when we're anxious, we get those tight feelings in our stomach and we feel kind of sick. And you let it pop out. You breathe in. You breathe out. You squeeze your bottom muscles. Because when you're nervous, you get stomach's problem. Let it go. In, out. Now, when we're anxious and we want to fight or flight, you do this. Make those fists, you tighten those arms like, I'm going to really punch whatever's bothering me. And then you let it go. You breathe in. You breathe out. And what you're trying to tell your body is, it's okay, calm down, and you can talk this problem through. So then, because we don't punch from like this, we punch from our shoulders, so shoulders up, shoulders down. And anybody who's worked with a couple that are angry at each other, you know when we're angry and mad and stressed, we want to yell. Tighten up those throat muscles where you yell from. See how it's squeezing? And let it go. And the last thing, when we're angry and upset and scared, we show it on our face. So you get tension in those facial muscles. Let it go. In, out. And then I wiggle my fingers so that when I'm really stressed and anxious and I can't do that whole thing because of where I am, I can just wiggle my fingers and that'll help me relax. So what you're trying to do is get that person who's really angry to bring down that level of anger so that they can think well enough to talk to you. This also, if you've had a really stressful day at work and your shoulders hurt and your neck hurts and your back hurts because you're carrying all that tension from work, if you do this, it lets it go. So I tell people to practice this 2 or 3 times a day, and every single time I wiggle my fingers. And then they can just wiggle their fingers and you can relax. So sometimes if I'm driving and I'm in a bad weather and it's a whiteout and I can't see me taking a break and doing this. I'll calm down while I'm driving and I'm not as stressed out and upset. Because what we're trying to do is sometimes we need to remember that our emotions can take over our thinking. And by calming down this way, you're trying to use your thinking to deal with my emotions. If I'm really angry at my husband and all I'm doing is feeling the emotions and getting more and more agitated, we can't solve the problem. But if I calm down like this, we can solve it. So those are just 3 quick techniques for stress reduction. The first 2 are a type of mindfulness. They make you very aware of what's going on around you rather than getting stuck in your head thinking all the negative thoughts. The other one is a physical relaxation technique. So if you've got any questions, I hope you can ask them, and I hope you try this out. And that I will post this now.